And now what I'm going to do is we're going to take out this whole chunk up here. And we'll take out these echoes. Okay, so now this is going to be kind of like maybe an edit page. So picture this being, maybe in an admin panel, and you want to see a list of all the navigation items and be able to load that data in the form and change that information. So let's first go ahead and run a query to get all of the nav items. And underneath the heading here, we'll go ahead and do PHP. And from now on, I'm actually going to take the format that we did the last query by defining the query. Query equals, we're going to do select all from nav. And then we'll run that query. So result equals MySQLi underscore query. Takes the database connection variable and the query variable. Now we're going to do a fet to soch, and we'll do a while, and we'll create this array. We'll call it nav links equals MySQLi fetch soch, send it the result, and our curly brackets, and we're just going to create a list of all the nav items. So we'll do an unordered list, and so we'll start our UL tag up here, take the closing tag and bring it underneath our PHP tag, and tab this stuff out, and we'll go ahead and echo. And we're going to make a list item, so li. And then inside here, we're going to make a link, ahref equals, and we'll just put a pound sign in there as a placeholder for a second. And go ahead and close that link. So for the link, we're going to make that, we're going to go ahead and concatenate, and we're going to place the nav underscore links label, concatenate. There you go. So we have now a list of navigation items. So go ahead and save and upload this. Load the page. There you go. We have a list of our nav items. Let's go back. Now we need to make these links actually do something. Because right now they're going to just do nothing. So we want them to go to the same page, but we want to send a property through the URL. So since it's going to load in the same page, we just need to put a question mark, and we'll do ID equals, and then we're going to concatenate again, and we'll do nav underscore links ID concatenate. So we'll go ahead and save and upload that. Take a look in the browser, click on one of these, and there you go. So we're now loading the ID up in the URL here. So similar to how we dynamically selected videos to play in the last portion of this series. We'll do kind of the same deal here, only use that to load the data that's in the form. So what we'll do is so we're going to run an if statement, and we're going to come up here above the form underneath the UL tag, do PHP if get ID. So basically if get ID exists, meaning one of these links has been clicked, then do something. And what we're going to do is go ahead and close that PHP here, and we're going to put the closing bracket all the way at the end of our form. So this is going to do two things. This is going to allow us to load data into the form should there be an ID sent to the URL. So if somebody clicks on one of these links, we can load into the form. But it's also going to go ahead and only display the form should one of these links be clicked on. So let's go ahead and test that out. Save and upload. Go ahead and clear out that variable and load the page. There you go. So we don't have a form, but if I click on About Us, we get our form. So let's even go as far as in here above the form, an HT tag, and do edit nav item. So we're loading our edit form. Now, up here, after we've run that if, we can go ahead and do our query. So make a query variable, query equals, and we're going to do select all from nav where ID equals get ID. And just for safe measures, even though all these IDs should be unique, we'll do limit 1. And we'll run our query. Set the database connection and the query. And there you go. So we've run our query. Now we need to get the result and do something with it. So this time we don't need to run the while loop because we're only getting one record. So we'll just do nav equals MySQLi underscore fetch soch. Send it the result. There you go. Now what we can do is come down here, and like we did with the post array in the previous example, we can go ahead and do PHP echo, and we'll just echo out nav. So for the key, in this example we had our names pretty much mimic the database column names, but unlike with the post, like in our last example, we want to make sure that our key here 100% matches what's in the database. In the event that you did use something different for the names, we need to make sure the right stuff loads here. So label, and we can go ahead and copy this and paste it a few times. Go ahead and change the values. Go ahead and save, upload, load our page, and we'll click on one of these links. There you go, there's our data. Now we know YouTube opens up in a different window, so test that target there. There you go. So it works. Now if we change anything in here, we're going to, one, lose our form, And 2, nothing's going to be changed because we haven't written the query to make those changes to the database. Let's do one thing here. Let's add, after the form action here, we'll do question mark ID equals, and we'll echo out the nav ID. So I'll paste this echo here, change this to ID, and we'll save and upload that. And load the page again. So what this is going to do is, say we click on YouTube channel, I'm going to go ahead and change position here, and although we know this isn't going to change anything in the database, we're going to send that ID back up to the URL here when we hit submit, so we keep this form loaded. And we're also going to see that the change didn't happen. So remember, this was a 4. We hit add, reverts back to 4. So that accomplishes 2 things. 1, we keep the data in the form, and 2, it lets us know that something happened and it did not edit. So now we can actually talk about how to commit those changes. So we'll go ahead and save a copy of this. Change out our number here.